students, it's a pleasure having you on this platform. I am your literature in English teacher, Mrs. Evelyn Emmanuel by name. The topic before us this morning is literature. But before I take the topic proper, there is an expression, a wrong expression I would like to correct, most especially by art students. Now, English literature is different from literature in English. Listen carefully, they are not the same. Now, what is literature in English? And also, what is English literature? Follow me carefully. English literature is the literature written in English by writers who are English by birth, that is, by origin or adoption. While literature in English is the literature written in English language by writers who are not English by birth or by origin. Therefore, I am a literature in English teacher and you're a student of literature in English because you are neither an English origin student or am I an English by birth. Please take notes. The topic before us this morning is literature. What is literature? Literature is a body or collection of written work. A body or collection of written work, not just written work. Also, it's a body or collection of written or unwritten work. Now, literature mirrors the society. It interprets life. Literature brings our environment, society, closer to us. Talking about literature, we have majorly two types of literature. We have the oral literature and the written literature. Now the question is, what is oral literature? Oral literature is a form of literature that is expressed via the words of mouth. That is to say that it is verbalized. It is not documented. It is not in written form. It's something you express via the words of mouth. It is not written. Example is when narrating a story. At times, you narrate your stories or story via the words of mouth. You say them out. While the written literature is what is documented. It is spelled out, is written out. It is not verbalized. Example is the beautiful ones are not yet born, Shakespearean literature, so on and so forth. Now, talking about types of literature, I said we have the oral and the written literature. Under oral literature, we have various types of them. We have the legend, the myth, folktales, riddles, and parables. All these are types of oral, that is verbalized literature. First is the legend. Legend talks about the origin of a person and the prominent role played by that person. A legend can be seen as a hero or a superstar based on the contribution and input that person has made. Next is the myth. Myth deals with past events. Example is the creation story, talking about how God created the heavens and the earth. Next is folk tales. Folk tales are used for entertainment and moralizing. That is to say, folk tale teaches moral. I take it again. Folk tales are used for entertainment and moralizing. Now, I remember years back there used to be this program on NTA tagged Tales by Moonlight, whereby you see it's usually in the evening. Children sit under the circumference of a tree and they are told stories by, let me say, experienced or older people in the society, and you see them being curious, eager to ask questions. So such a scenario is what is known as folk tale. Folk tale is usually for entertainment and it teaches moral. Next is the riddles. Riddles are metaphorical expressions. They are metaphorical expressions. Now, students, let me give this metaphorical expression, and I will like to get an immediate feedback from you. Okay, this metaphorical expression goes thus. Okay, in the morning I have 4 legs. In the afternoon, 2 legs, and then in the night, 3 legs. I want you to give me the meaning of this metaphorical expression in one word. I think it's again. In the morning I have 4 legs, in the afternoon 2 legs, and then in the night 3 legs. What does that mean? Alright, let me answer the question. In one sentence or in one word, the meaning of the metaphorical expression is a human being. A human being. A human being. Now, as a little child or as a baby, you are in the morning of your life. That is to say, at that point in time, you walk with how many legs? 4 legs. That is, you crawl your legs, and then by using your legs and your hands. At that stage of your life, you walk with what? 4 legs. The afternoon is the adult stage or adulthood of your life. That is to say that you've transited from being a little baby to probably a young adult or a child. At that point in time, you walk with your 2 legs. You walk on your feet. That is the afternoon of your life. And then the evening of your life, you need an aid, either a stick or a walking stick or a staff. That is to say, at that point you have how many legs? 3 legs. Yes, it's very well. Parable is a short story with its meaning placed side by side. Parable is a short story with its meaning placed side by side. There's this account, this biblical accounts of a parable. I believe you all know the parable of the prodigal son. The parable of the prodigal son. What happened? He woke up one morning and decided to disintegrate himself from his family. By walking up to his father, he walked up to his father and told him that he needs his own inheritance, even while his father was alive. And his father, so kind, granted him. He went away to a far country, into a strange land, squandered everything to the point that he was left with nothing. And what happened? He started feeding himself with food made for what? Pigs. Collaborating with animals. And this particular day, he came back to his senses and was like, what am I doing here? What is all this? And he said to himself, it is high time I return to my father and plead for what? For forgiveness. And plead for forgiveness. And I don't even care, he told himself that he doesn't even care if the father will make him one of his servants. He's ready to go back home than suffering in an unknown land. And there's something striking about this particular parable. On approaching his family house, the father cited him. He didn't even wait for any explanation. He told his servants to go get him, clean him up. What an interesting parable. What an interesting parable. What a great parable. Now, students, this is an assignment for you. Assignment number 1. When defining parable, I said it's a short story with its meaning placed side by side. Now, what is the meaning of the parable I just narrated? I want you to give me the meaning of the parable just narrated, which I just narrated. That is your assignment number 1. This now leads me to the written literature. What is written literature? Written literature is a literature passed across in written form. I explained that earlier. Passed across in written form. It is documented and it is not verbalized. In summary, I started by teaching what literature is. I said literature is a body or collection of written work. It teaches moral, it interprets the society. And I said we have 2 types of literature, the written literature and the oral literature. Under the oral literature, we have legend, myth, folk tales, riddles, and parables. With this, I've come to the end of my lesson. It's a pleasure having you